All things considered, the feature in this movie looked pretty sweet. You can definitely say that. Ghost in the Shell. So Ghost in the Shell is a live-action adaptation of the Japanese anime from 1995. I don't know much about, all I know about Ghost in the Shell is the first official PlayStation magazine that I used to take the demo discs from. It had that cover. That stuck out in my mind as a teenage boy. I don't know why it would. In Ghost in the Shell, in this future, a lot of people have embraced technology and enhancements. If you lived in this world, odds would be everyone you know is somehow cybernetically enhanced. Give it arm, eyeballs, bladder control, whatever. However, Scarlett Johansson's character is the first of her kind because they have taken a human brain and put it in an entirely synthetic body, blurring the lines of what is life, what is a soul. So now she takes out scumbags for this organization. And when new threats arise, she's got to get on the case. Really, I wasn't on the Ghost in the Shell movie train for a while because none of the trailers really grabbed me. Then they released this 5-minute clip of her going through this window and just wrecking shit. And I was like, actually, that's pretty cool. In 5 minutes of footage, you can kind of engross yourself in the world a little more, kind of see where the world's coming from, see what Scarlett Johansson's character's all about, and I really did dig it. And to that point, this world is actually a really cool world. Visually speaking, this movie's pretty mind-blowing. A few times it's not. You're like, I get it. You gotta blast a lot of your budget on some other shit. There's one scene in particular where she's running from this thing and she's like hop, 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 going really fast. I was like, that does look like a lot of CGI I've seen in 2005. Rest of it though, great. Just visually speaking, it looks like something from anime. This movie nails the world conceptually. A world where people have mods in their brains and they can talk with people without using their vocal cords because that computer chip's linked to that computer in their brain. Really, that's the golden egg for shit talk right there. That's pretty much what people use it for anyway. So the world as you see it and this movie in concept of this cyborg that's a human brain inside a synthetic body and questioning, do I have a soul? Am I just a machine like these other machines in this world? Am I different? I'm not really sure. That's interesting in concept. Execution-wise, though, the movie's pretty long, boring, drawn-out, dull, slow, choppy, sloppy. A lot of things working against this movie, and it's just a bummer. Granted, this movie probably could have benefited from being a series on Netflix or HBO, something with a higher budget. This would probably have to be HBO. And I imagine that scenario was in talks at the table when they were talking about how to make Ghost in the Shell. We just look at the budget of this thing, you just look at the world, it's like, we can't do that on TV. Sorry, it's gonna be a theatrically released film. And it's gonna feel like it probably should have been a season of TV. I thought Scarlett Johansson was fine. She didn't stick out in any way, shape. It's not like I was like, oh, that could only be Scarlett Johansson. A few ladies probably could have played that role, as is the case with a lot of people in movies. Very few times it's like, that is just meant for that actor. I say the movie feels like a season of television because in terms of the villain, it starts out with one villain and then there's another villain, and the first villain was way cooler than the second villain. In fact, first villain I really liked a lot. I was like, Max Headroom has never been cooler. I call him Max Headroom because he talks like Max Headroom. He's like tweaking out and twitching when he's talking. He's like, it was self-defense. He was actually by far my favorite part in the movie. Then him for what he is just kind of wraps up. It's like, all right, now we're on to other shit. Less interesting shit. There are a few parts, especially when it just grinds down to slow-mo for no reason whatsoever. I was like, I feel like they're doing that because like, that's a moment that's completely taken from the anime and you can kind of have them side by side when it's all in slow-mo and it'll be fun for an editor to do and put on YouTube. Like there are a couple parts this movie tries to hit you with the feels and again, conceptually it should have, but execution-wise, it just didn't. I was like, yeah, I don't care. The movie can't just be all action, action, action for something like this. You do need those deeper meanings. You do need the emotional gravity. However, it just doesn't land. Guys, in the end, Ghost in the Shell looked great. Like if there is a visual art book for this movie, it'd probably be worth it to get it. The movie has a great concept of characters, but the execution on all those points just doesn't stick. And the movie can't thrive off of concept. It has to thrive off of execution of concept. If you're a fan of the anime, you might be like, no, this is total fan service. I love this. And I hope so. But as someone who isn't a fan of the animation, didn't see the animation, I feel like you might feel like you're in a car full of people who are all in on this private joke and they're all laughing and having a good time and you're like, I don't know the private joke. I don't know if this movie does the anime justice. I can only base the movie on what I saw tonight. Ghost in the Shell looked great, but it'd probably be a better time if I were drunk. Yeah, now it's a party. People didn't like Blade Runner when it first came out. Maybe it's like that. Alright guys, so Ghost in the Shell, the movie. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or did you see the animation? Do you like the animation better than the movie? Does the movie live up to the animation for you? Whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.